You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. So if you're a fan of the podcast, you're going to absolutely love the book. Slow Living, Cultivating a Life of Purpose in a Hustle-Driven World is now available wherever books are sold. Buy it for yourself, your children, your friends, and your neighbors. You can get all the juicy details at stephanieoday.com/slow living book. Trust me, this is hands down the best $20 you'll ever spend. Hello, Slow Down Society. Steph here, and we are on episode 156 of the Slow Living Podcast. And today we're going to talk about cleaning your house, cleaning your home, cleaning the space in which you live. And we're going to title this episode The Self-Cleaning House. And that's because nobody likes cleaning. And even if you like cleaning in the way that you are filled sometimes with kind of like frantic and manic energy, and cleaning makes you feel good, and you're kind of excited to do it. Great. I get those bursts of energy too, and it feels really productive and kind of exciting to clean. That said, cleaning is a chore. And for most people, they don't like chores. And so today we're going to talk about having your house in a state where pretty much always company can come over with about 30-ish or so minutes of warning. And this doesn't mean that like out of town guests, you can spring into action and have them stay with you for a week at a time and 30 minutes. That's still going to need some configuring. So I don't want you to put a whole bunch of external pressure on yourself that this is a goal that you have to achieve right this very second. Nope. This is your house, your home, your living space, and you get to decide what works for you. Today, I'm going to share what works for me and my family and what has worked with many, many people that I've worked with and who have read my books, because cleaning is just something you have to do. And if you are a parent, you are raising the next generation, and they too need to learn how to pick up after themselves, because they can't just expect that someone is going to do it for them. These kids will be going off to college, and they will be eventually full-fledged grown-ups, and they can't leave kind of a wake of mess in their path. And I am seeing this firsthand. I happen to work in an elementary school as my day job, and there are kids who legit do not tidy up after themselves. They're perfectly happy with kind of brushing, pencil sharpening stuff onto the floor or eraser dust onto the floor, whereas I was taught to scrape it into my hand and then walk it over to the garbage can to throw it away. But this kind of newer generation doesn't think a few steps ahead. And that's why we're talking about the self-cleaning house today, and why, as a parent, your job is to help teach them that in real life, there's not a custodian or a maid or a housekeeper that's going to come around and clean up after you. It's either mom or dad, or you're going to live in a messy house, or you're going to spend an exorbitant amount of money your whole entire life to employ people to do this for you. And depending on your budgetary needs, maybe having a housekeeper or a maid service or something is part of your household budget, and it's just not an issue and you're not worried about it. And that's great. That's wonderful. And that's perfect for deep cleaning things, scrubbing the kitchen floor, making sure the toilets are sparkling, doing the things that you wouldn't necessarily want to do yourself all of the time. But I don't want you to lean on that and never clean up after yourself. This is not a hotel. I don't want you to like leave wet clothes and towels after your shower, just hoping that someone's going to swoop in and take care of them magically for you. And you certainly don't want that for your kids. At least my hope is you don't want that for your kids because it's a little bit obnoxious to come across grown-ups who act that way, especially in a work environment. If you are making your coffee in the morning and you leave the paper sugar packet wrapper on the sink with little granules of sugar around it and your coffee spoon with like droplets of coffee, and you're just like leaving it on a communal counter and walking away, that is utterly disgusting. And whether or not you think it's gross and obnoxious, it is. And I am judging you, and probably your coworkers are judging you. Same with a communal microwave at work. Cover your food. Do not leave spotlets of nastiness in a communal microwave. And if your frozen dinner or whatever did splatter, go get a moist paper towel and clean it out. Like, don't be obnoxious. So that's essentially what we're going to talk about today. And when you start to do these things, you too will have a house that kind of runs in a really well-oiled kind of way. And if you run into someone at the grocery store and they're like, hey, can I come over for coffee? Or, whoa, we should catch up. You can be like, yep, follow me home. It's totally fine. Sure, there may be a few stray shoes by the front door and some couch cushions that need to be plumped and a random, I don't know, like cereal box left on the counter. But your friend can come in and use your bathroom, and you're not going to be totally humiliated or embarrassed because you have a self-cleaning house. So I have written about this quite a bit. My first housekeeping journal is Totally Together: Shortcuts to an Organized Life. And I came up with this journal and these kind of list of chores when I was a new mom and young wife. So I hadn't hit 30 yet, but I had two little kids and realized that we certainly couldn't afford housekeeping and needed to have the house running properly. I'd also just finished running preschool centers, and I knew that I could get a room full of 24 kiddos to clean up after themselves. So how come my own house seemed a little bit disarrayedness? And so I wanted to kind of develop some daily, weekly, monthly, seasonal, and quarterly chores for our family. And so I wrote about it in Totally Together: Shortcuts to an Organized Life. I continued to write about it in Clean Less, Play More, Housekeeping for Normal People. And then I touched upon it within the organizational chapter of the new book, Slow Living, Cultivating a Life of Purpose in a Hustle-Driven World. For today, I'm going to go through some of the highlights that are mostly written about in the Clean Less, Play More book. So today we are going to talk about what are the daily chores. So I will list out the 7 daily chores that you really should do as much as humanly possible. Then the weekly chores. We're going to talk monthly chores, seasonal chores, kind of quarterly chores. And then we're also going to talk about a punch list and creating one for your home. And then I'm going to talk about age appropriate chores. So since I have a background in early childhood education and have been working with children my entire life, I used to say adult life, but then I realized that I actually babysat and nannied for quite a while before I even was a full-fledged adult. One, I can talk to kids and get them to do things. And two, it's just a really good habit for you to know that if you've got a kid, they're watching you. You are their first teacher. So that old adage, monkey see, monkey do, really does take effect. If you take the time every time you take your shoes off at the front door to go line them up nicely, or to put them into a closet all the way or into a shoe bin, your children will follow suit eventually. Um, and it's just a good habit to kind of realize that you're being watched. And if it's helpful, decide you're, I don't know, a famous social media star and there's cameras watching you all of the time. So do the right thing. Yes, sometimes doing the right thing takes a half of a second longer, but you will end up saving a whole bunch of time in the long run if you just follow through. If you've got something in your hand, don't put it down. Go put it all of the way away and that kind of thing. Okay. The 7 chores to a highly successful household. Number 1, make your bed right away. It just looks nicer. Keep your room tidy. Make your bed. Get in the habit of making your bed. If you don't want to make your bed the second you hop out of bed, then pull the bed sheets back, let the bed air out. And then later, after your shower and you're getting dressed, go back, make your bed. 2, a complete load of laundry every day. Gather the laundry in the house, the moist and dirty kitchen towels, any clothes, anything. Just get in the habit of plopping it all into the washer at the end of the day and running a load. And a complete load of laundry is wash, dry, fold, and put away. So, depending on your day and how it turns out, sometimes I am folding and putting away yesterday's laundry from the dryer. But if you just kind of always have something running and something to do, it will keep it from kind of piling up. That said, really, now that my kids are older and out of the house, I do sort of collect the folding for a Sunday, and I spend a couple hours watching um, usually kind of a sleazy, not very well written, made for TV movie and folding laundry on my bed. And that's what works for me. But in order to have that laundry ready to go to fold whenever I want, I do keep up with running a load of laundry a day. And when the kids were little, OMG, with all of the sports clothes and the different spit up stains that babies and toddlers have, absolutely run that laundry every day. The newer washing machines are water efficient. It can tell just by the weight of the machine how much water needs to be utilized. So don't worry about that. 3, empty all garbage cans every day. Depending on how your house is set up, we've got a little garbage can in each bathroom and under the sink. At the end of the night, I just dump all of the little waste baskets into the large kitchen garbage can, tie it up, take it out to the bin, and do this. And I'll tell you, one, it's practical. It's a good habit to get into. It keeps your house from smelling. And then 2, it can save you thousands of dollars on a vet bill. Because this, well, knock on wood, I'm going to knock on wood right now. Sheldon is fine, but my middle daughter was home from college and she likes Wingstop. So we ordered the family order of Wingstop, ate most of the 30 wings. We probably ate in the 20s. Put this is one of the times when I was not in charge, someone else was in charge. And so they put the wings into the kitchen garbage can instead of taking them all the way outside. And Sheldon got into the garbage and he ate 20-ish chicken wings. And so, of course, I freaked out and Googled everything on Pet MD. And it was really helpful because the first line on Pet MD said, dogs have been eating bones for thousands of years. And so that was very helpful for me. That said, I did sleep next to him that night and kept an eye on him. And then the next day when he pooped, his poop was as hard as sidewalk chalk. So he did digest all these little bones, but it was not a good idea. And I was furious at myself for not being in charge of the bones and just tying up the bag and taking them all the way outside. So if you are in the habit and other people in the house are in the habit, this will not happen to you. And depending on the nature of your dog, I very well could have saved you thousands and thousands of dollars on open abdominal surgery. You're welcome. 4, keep your kitchen sink empty. If you put a peanut butter knife in the sink, other stuff magically gets attracted to it. Keep your sink empty. Put things in the dishwasher right away or hand wash right away. Don't use the sink as a waiting area to eventually wash a whole bunch of dishes. Just get in the habit of washing them as they come, or stacking them into the dishwasher. 5, clean up after yourself and help children do the same. Yep. If you get scissors out to cut something out, when you're done with the scissors, go put them back in the drawer. Same with the Scotch tape. These type of things will help, because then if someone says, hey, where's the Scotch tape? Where's the scissors? You have a place for them and you know where they are each and every time. 5, no, that was 5. 6, bathroom wipe down. So a 10-minute kind of bathroom wipe down every day will really keep the kind of dust and grime from adhering to your bathroom floor and around the base of the toilet. And many people also write to me and they tell me now that they keep one of those kind of dishwashing scrubber brushes where you can put like the dish soap in the handle. They keep it in the shower. And so while they're waiting for their hair to deep condition, they just quickly wipe down or rub down their shower walls. And then that keeps them from ever having to spend the day scouring a shower. So these kind of little tricks will really keep your house kind of sparkly. And it's so no-brainer and easy. And you're an adult. And this is what adults do. Adults, unfortunately, sometimes have to do things they don't want to do. 7, before bed, 10-minute tidy cleanup. Depending on how many kids you have in the house, we've got 3. So when we were all home, that was 5 of us. If I did a 10-minute tidy at 7:30 after dinner, that was a collective 50 minutes of cleaning time. And it's just a way to reset the house, get the towels straightened on the racks, make sure the throw blankets and pillows on the couch were folded, the shoes were put away, the backpacks were sorted. It's also a great way to just kind of double check that everything at the bottom of the backpack has been emptied out, because you do not want a squishy banana in there and a gross half-eaten sandwich at the end of the week. Paying attention to where the PE clothes are, so you're washing them regularly. That kind of stuff can happen in a 10-minute tidy if you are calling them nightly and just kind of doing them regularly. Okay, that's daily chores. So let's see. Okay, once a week, vacuum. If you have a Roomba or a stick vacuum, like a wireless vacuum, and you've got hardwood floor, you're probably already vacuuming more than once a week anyway, at least the hard surfaces. But for the carpets, throw rugs, that kind of thing, pull out the vacuum once a week. Mop, same with the kitchen. If you're doing the 10-minute tidy in the bathrooms, you probably don't really need to mop the bathroom, because if the bathroom floor gets wet after a shower, you're just using something to quickly dry up the bathroom floor. And chances are you don't really need to spend actual time mopping each week. You can get it done, but absolutely mop the kitchen at least once a week. Microwave, pay attention to the microwave. Use a damp paper towel or rag and open it. Get in the habit of opening it and paying attention and wiping things down as often as possible, but 2 at least once a week, paying attention. Dusting. I do like to just kind of dust and pay attention to things while I'm watching TV. I'll put something on, and at a commercial break, I'm like, okay, I'm in the living room. I'll just use a damp dish rag or a microfiber cloth and wipe down the picture frames and things like that. Twice a month, I do what I call toothpick clean, and it's mostly in the kitchen. So around like the stove knobs, they get a little grimy. Great way to clean that is with a toothpick and then like a Clorox or a Lysol wipe wrapped around the pointy part of the toothpick, and get that out. If your stove vent is greasy, clean out the little venty things and wipe down the top of the stove vent and get rid of all of the grease stuff. Change your linens, change your bedding every other week, twice a month. Once a month, wipe down, dust your blinds, sweep or hose off your front porch. If you've got furniture that needs furniture polishing, now's the time to kind of pay attention to that about once a month, and then clean out your car. Get in the habit of that once a month. Um, I'll tell you, we do pay for that. Adam kind of spoils us, and he drives my car through the car wash once a month and then uses the kind of vacuum that's there to get the dog hair, the beach sand, and kind of the weird stuff out of my car. We do every day that I've got kids in the car, ask them to get those wrappers out, pick up your Kleenex, and that kind of stuff. Okay. Quarterly, the top of your refrigerator gets gooky. Put on a podcast or some fun music and climb up there on a chair. And just with the changing of the seasons, wipe it down and do that. The cabinet doors of your kitchen, same thing. That's a quarterly thing. They get greasy, dusty, grimy. If you're doing this 4 times a year or so, it really keeps you from needing to like eventually strip them and really kind of clean them. Nose prints on windows, washing windows. I'm not a huge window washer. I don't really care about the outside of the windows. We live in San Francisco. It's always kind of foggy and moist outside. So I feel like in general, the outside of my windows are fine. Here and there, I'll spray water on the outside and call it a day. But we've certainly never spent time scrubbing the outside of the windows. The inside of the windows, I will spot clean with Windex, or if you want to use a vinegar solution, go for it. But that's not a monthly thing. It's probably more of a quarterly thing for me. Twice a year, you have to change your smoke detector batteries. You have to change your HVAC filters. If you have mattresses that need flipping, flip them. And then again, hosing down like the outside of your house. If you've got cobwebs that are accumulating, walking around, looking at your gutters, those kind of home maintenance-y things. Speaking of home maintenance-y things, once a month, I want you to cross something off of your punch list. And a punch list is something that I'd like for you to keep on probably a clipboard or some sort of Google Doc in your phone or on your computer. But it's an ongoing running list of things that need to get taken care of that are kind of like, in a sexist world, we would call them dad jobs or hardware-y type jobs, stuff like changing different light bulbs that burnt out that take time to get to because you've got to pull out a ladder, paint that needs to get touched up on baseboards, caulking around the base of the tub or shower or toilet, just kind of those kind of things, hanging photos that you want hung, but you have to find the stud in the wall in order to do so and have them level. So put these things on a punch list, both for the inside and the outside of your house. So different things in the yard. If you know you've got a sink hole kind of happening under some pavers in the backyard, and in order to fix those pavers, you're going to have to pull them up, get some leveling sand, and do that. That's kind of a larger chore. So put that on your punch list, and once a month, see what you can cross off. Okay. And the last thing we're going to talk about are age-appropriate chores. And this is a big deal. It's really interesting to me, again, because I'm around children all day long, how helpless children are becoming. And that's not helping them develop into full-fledged grown-up humans. And you're not doing them any favors by not giving them the tools to take care of themselves. So you might think that you don't want to be mean and you don't want to be bossy and you don't want your kids to have to do maybe what you deem as menial labor or something that it'd be faster or easier for you to just do yourself. And you are not doing them favors. Um, Children are part of society, and they in the society of which who that lives in your house, and they need to do things. So kids as young as 2 can absolutely scrape their food into the garbage can and stack into the dishwasher. Sure, they're not tall enough to rinse in the sink, so don't expect any of that, but they can still put their little plastic cup into the dishwasher. So don't baby them, don't belittle them, empower and teach and model. So children, it's so funny, but kids as young as 9-ish or so, 9, 10 months, can sit on the floor next to you while you are sorting laundry and give them a pile of socks to sort. So those kind of things. But so at around uh I don't know, 1-ish, 2-ish years of age, depending on their developmental kind of capacity. And again, don't baby the babies. Teach, model, and guide in a nurturing and loving way, not a this way or the highway way, but just start to involve them in things. So sorting laundry, emptying waste baskets, bringing in the newspaper and the mail, matching socks. Um, Little kids, young, can help to pull up a sheet and a comforter in their own bed. They can also start to learn how to fold a blanket that's left on the couch, or at least pick up the blanket and go put it in the blanket bin or basket or a drawer or something like that. Little kids, they can empty spoons and plasticware from the silverware caddy of the dishwasher. They absolutely can put their own toys away in an appropriate container, and they can dust slash clean with a baby wipe. And OMG, little kids love that. Um, I never had such sparkly baseboards as I did when I had children in the house under age 5, because they were so excited to get a baby wipe and just wipe the floor. And then all of my baseboards. God, it just was fantastic. I sort of need to find some little kids to bring on over and clean my baseboards. Okay, ages 3 to 6. So that's preschool to pre elementary school age. They can continue to do all of those things that I listed earlier. They now can make their own bed, load and unload the dishwasher with assistance. So you're not just leaving them to their own device. This is time for you to talk to your child, model what needs to happen, and do things together. Like, okay, come on, now we're gonna go do this. So yes, it's tempting to park them in front of the TV or iPad while you whip through your chores, but that's not helping them develop into full-fledged grown-up humans. Um, and not all the time. So please don't beat yourself up that you've got to be like Mary Poppins, Stepford wife type person all the time. No, you do not. I get it. This is the real world, and everyone is busy and kind of at their wits' end at all time. But I want you to slow down, and I want you to realize that tiny little things count. So if you're in a rush and you're trying to get dinner on the table, probably not the right time to have your kid help empty the dishwasher for the first time. Maybe that's a Saturday morning leisurely activity while you're sipping on your coffee. So please don't set yourself up for failure or give yourself false expectations that you're going to suddenly turn into Mary Poppins, or was it when she was in The Sound of Music, Maria? Yeah, no. Just be normal. Feed, water the pets. Absolutely. Keep that dog's water bowl filled as much as possible. And picking up a dog's water bowl and bringing it over to the sink is too much for a little kid. If you think, well, they're going to make a mess and slosh it all around, you're right. So don't have them do that. Instead, give them a plastic cup. You fill the plastic cup and then you go over and pour the water into the dog's bowl. That kind of thing. Watering the plants, pulling weeds. Little kids love to pull weeds. Also, little gardening gloves are adorbs. Whisk broom and dustpan. Yes, little kids can absolutely do that. Putting away your own laundry and beginning to set the table. Super fun. Ages 7 to 10. So this is the age of the child that mostly ends up in my office in the elementary school. And I am blown away at how helpless they are. It's kind of startling. And they'll just like shove a string cheese wrapper in my hands and go, Mrs. O'Day, open this. First off, not nice manners. So I reset them. I'm like, well, let's try that again. Good morning, Mrs. O'Day. Will you please help me open this cheese wrapper? And then they can hand it over to me. And then my second question is, have you tried to do this yourself? So please don't encourage learned helplessness. Yes, opening a banana sometimes is tricky, but also you still should try that kind of thing. Okay, 7 to 10. They can actually learn how to do a complete load of wash with assistance, but they can learn how to push the buttons, pushing the buttons and turning the knobs. Super fun. Vacuuming, mopping, maintaining order in your own room. So if there's too much stuff and clutter and your kids can't clean their room, get rid of some stuff. Put things away up high in a closet. A preschool and a kindergarten classroom, the teacher really just needs to ring the bell and the kids spring to action because they know where the Legos go, they know where the books go, and they clean up after themselves. Clearing the table after meals, sweeping the kitchen, and those kind of things. Obviously, preteen through the teenage years really should be tiny little baby adults, and they can fill in for you in a pinch. It was really interesting because when I had Amy Lee on, the Productive Mama, a few episodes ago, she was talking about when she was in her horrific bus crash, her kids stepped up and did all the cooking and kind of ran the house. And that's because she had sort of, quote unquote, trained them along the way to begin to know how to make macaroni and cheese, heat up soup, chili, make a grilled cheese sandwich, make quesadillas, scramble an egg. By the time your kids are middle school, late, probably maybe not sixth grade, but late middle school, high school, they've got to be able to fend for themselves if you're laid up in bed for a few days because you're recovering from COVID or something. You can't continue to cater to them forever and ever. They've got to figure this out. And the best way to have really great, productive teenagers who step up is to start in the early years, the toddler and preschool years. Okay, that was a lot of information. But really the takeaway is, one, you can't expect other people to do things for you all the time. If it's in your budget to have housekeeping, fantastic. That's wonderful. But you don't want to raise kids who think they don't have to clean up after themselves because the maid or someone is going to do it for them. It's obnoxious. Okay. All right, pretty people, consider yourself loved and hugged. I think you're amazing and wonderful and lovely and kind. And I will be back in your earbuds next week. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.